All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find a seat, I thank you so much for coming this evening. This is a great thing here and a great opportunity for us to thank the county executive and the administration for the nice thing that they're doing for us in recognition of all the hard work you all have done throughout the year and throughout the last 2 years, especially over COVID, alongside our hardworking heroes from the career side of DFRS that were out there every day also. So again, we thank you for that. So at this time, I'm going to call Dr. Ball forward for some comments.
Thanks, Chief Day, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. You know, Howard County is recognized as one of the safest communities in our entire nation, a place where you can raise a family, grow your business, and have a high quality of life. We aspire to be a county where residents are safe and feel safe. But that would not be possible without our continued investment in public safety, ensuring that our police department, our Department of Fire and Rescue Services, and other public safety organizations have the staff, resources, and facilities important to support our community. Often overlooked, but never forgotten, are our county's volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel. You are a critically important piece of our public safety puzzle. This infrastructure is so critically important and has been for quite some time. Our first volunteer fire department opened in Ekide City over 130 years ago. And the contributions of our volunteer firefighters and EMS personnel have been integral to the safety of our community throughout the history of our great county. Howard County, as you know, has 6 phenomenal volunteer companies that play a key role in our county's emergency response services. At fires, EMS, and other emergency events, our volunteers work side by side by their career counterparts. And never was the work of our volunteer firefighters more important and more valuable and more seen than during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. And despite you, our volunteers, and our families facing the same challenges, fears, anxieties, you continue to answer the needs of our residents and our visitors. You continue to respond to life-threatening emergencies and perform other supportive functions right alongside our other first responders. You have continued to support Howard County and our entire community despite facing significant loss of revenue due to inability to raise funds like you normally would over the last couple years. Our volunteer firefighters have supported our residents in our county through unprecedented challenges, which is why I'm so happy to support you. Our fiscal year 2023 budget, which just started on July 1st, includes $500,000 in grant funding to support our volunteer departments in Clarksville, Elk Ridge, Ekide City, Lisbon, Savage, and West Friendship. Please give yourselves a big round of applause. In addition, our approved budget includes over $4.5 million in operating support for our volunteers, an increase of about $250,000 over just last year alone. And our investment in our volunteer firefighter service is another example of the respect and appreciation we have for you and how much we value your service to our community. We're making historic investments today for a better tomorrow. For so many of our residents, being safe, feeling safe is our most basic need. And that's why public safety is a priority. You, our volunteer firefighters, have supported Howard County, the entire community, through our most challenging times, and I'm here honored to support you. Thank you.
Dr. Ball, I'm sure we'll all have more to say as we go on here, but we thank you so much. And we want to thank you for this, because we're so glad you pulled somebody out of retirement, because it's great to have the support that we do from the administration, but it's even more important that you put a great chief in front of us right now and doing such a great job. Chief Winston.
Good evening. First and foremost, thank you all for your service, and thank you for what you do for the community and for Howard County Fire and Rescue. It's great to be here to celebrate this presentation of this funding for our 6 volunteer corporations. The support from our volunteers has always been a vital part of the department's operations. Throughout the early days of the pandemic, when uncertainty and fear were at their highest, our firefighters and EMTs, to include our volunteers, continued to show up for our communities. More than 2 years after the start of the pandemic, it's easy to forget the very real risk that all our personnel faced in the early days. During the height of the pandemic and beyond, the department has asked all our personnel, career and volunteer, to adapt and overcome as we've implemented new tactics and strategies designed to keep ourselves and our community safe. Several of our volunteer stations also served as mobile vaccination and testing sites for our communities. The volunteer corporations have always provided an essential link in Howard County. Many volunteer stations are staples in their community, serving as hubs for local events and community meetings, with many of our volunteers living in the very same neighborhoods to which their station serves. The sustained efforts of our volunteer corporations through open houses, public education, community outreach are just another way the department has always been able to maintain such a great relationship with our community in keeping safe and engaged communities. I'm grateful for the work every one of you contributes to our department and the citizens and visitors of Howard County every day. We are a stronger department because of your service. Thank you.
Okay, as you said, when this pandemic started back in March of 2020, it was something that we didn't know anything about. We didn't know what was coming or what road lied ahead of us. But through the guidance of DFRS and through your all's office, Dr. Ball, we were able to see that road, and we were able to go down it and together and serve the citizens well. So as I start to call on the different department chiefs, I'm sure you're going to hear some of the things that they had to deal with as it went on. So my friend, Chief Pryor from Elkridge, would you come forward, please, for a few comments?
I'll just kind of make it short and sweet. I appreciate it. I'll just reiterate everything that Mickey has said. I really appreciate, and the fire department really appreciates everything that you have done for us through this pandemic and everything else. The funds that you have given us for this is well needed and well welcomed. You know, through this whole pandemic and everything, it has been tough for us. It's been tough for us with our members being able to come up, and also just getting the community back together again. So with this, it just helps us get the community back together, and it helps us out a lot with everything else that we have to do in the fire department. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Next, a newly appointed chief at Ellicott City, Chief Robin Zivatek. Robin?
The organization, which is now known as the Ellicott City Fire Department, started in 1888 when a group of concerned citizens organized fire protection for Ellicott City. Since that time, the Ellicott City Volunteer Fire Department has responded to calls for fire and emergency services in Ellicott City and the surrounding area. Although the response needs have changed over time, our volunteers remain dedicated to protecting our community just as they did 134 years ago. On behalf of the Ellicott City Fire Department, I'd like to thank Executive Ball and the County Council for recognizing the contributions of our members by providing this grant. which will allow us to do more for the citizens and visitors of Howard County. In addition to our great operational needs, we hope to utilize these funds to enhance our recruitment and retention efforts, which were put on hold during the past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, I'd like to thank Chief Winston for entrusting the Ellicott City Volunteer Fire Department as a partner in accomplishing the Howard County Department of Fire Rescue Services mission of maintaining a safe environment and high quality of life in the Howard County by educating, protecting, and serving our citizens, members, and visitors. Thank you.
Chief Zivatek mentioned recruitment and retention, and that is one thing that is, as we've coming out of this pandemic, I think all of us are finding the biggest challenge that we have. Many of our members, because of COVID, because they had to do different things with their families, were restricted from coming to the firehouse, especially if they were administrative members and they had no real need to come to the facility because of a fundraiser or something like that. Some of them have found other things to do. And while that's disappointing, I think it's great that what Ellicott City is doing, and I think many of us will also follow their footsteps in trying to reactivate and get our members interested again in coming back around to the stations now that COVID is kind of in our rearview mirror, and we hope it stays that way. So it's interesting that Robin said that, and I just want to call that out. So the next department is, and I just made my comments, that's West Friendship, and I'd like all the West Friendship members to come forward to receive their big check. Next up is Lisbon, and we're here to, Chief Stahl is working this evening, was unable to attend, as well as the Deputy Chief was also working this evening and unable to attend. But they have sent an able-bodied person in to come in their place and speak, and that's Mr. Andy Magnus. Andy?
Thank you. On behalf of Lisbon, I want to thank you for this presentation. As many of you, all of you probably know, for approximately 12 years, Lisbon has been in the works for a new fire station. And we were finally able to pull the trigger and get things moving. COVID hit, and it has greatly affected our fundraising activities. So we did have to scale back a little bit, go with a phase 1, phase 2 type project, and this certainly is helping to make up for some of that lost fundraising. We are hoping to get the community room back together in the near future. I believe there was a meeting today about that. And hopefully we can start getting the fundraising going and get those Sunday breakfasts going again. Right. So, thank you again.
Thank you. Next, we have the 5th District Volunteer Fire Department. Chief Marlette is unable to attend today. He actually had eye surgery yesterday, and I spoke to him last night. He's doing well. And he was happy to inform me that Mr. John Taylor would be representing him this evening.
I'm going to challenge Russel on brevity. On behalf of Chief Marlette and the members of the 5th District, we thank you and your administration and the County Council for your support. And we really appreciate the generous grant. Much appreciated.
And next, but certainly not least important, they are the ones that I've always known as the Rock. And they are the Rock of the Volunteer Fire Department, and that is the folks from Savage. And we have Chief Hatton here to come up and speak now.
Of course, they say the best for last, right? I heard Dr. Ball whisper in his ear, hey, save the best for last. So here we are, right? Good news is there's a fire in the building. I have a lot of members here to put it out, right? Again, I don't think anybody can express how difficult COVID has made the volunteer fire service, you know, the effect that it's had on us through fundraising, membership. You know, not only did our members have to deal with COVID in the Howard County area, we also had to deal with it within our family. So it was basically double duty for us. And during that time, our members continued to put apparatus on the street And the members that are here, I say thank you. You guys are a blessing. You're a blessing to Savage, the whole county. So thank you, Dr. Ball, Chief Winston, Ekide. Thank you guys for putting this together. This money will definitely go to good use, helping us rebuild our membership, buying apparatus, and a whole bunch of other things. So thank you guys. And on a side note, if anybody in here wants to come down and join Savage, if you're not happy with membership. On a serious note, and on behalf of Chief Ray Wines, who was unable to be here tonight, the Ladies Auxiliary, our president, we honestly say thank you. This is it's a great blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, Dr. Ball, thank you so much for doing this. Thanks for thinking about us, and thanks for putting up these funds that will be of great use to the volunteer departments to help replenish some of the missed opportunities we had during COVID. I certainly would like to thank Chief Winston for the great relationship you've had with us, and we're looking forward to that continuing. Lonnie, Mark, Sid, everybody, the deputy chiefs that are here, everybody, thank you so much for being here, and not only tonight, but for supporting us year-round. And we certainly do appreciate it. Sure thing.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I know like there are some jurisdictions around the state who use some of their ARPA funding. One of the reasons why we use county funding was, number one, we wanted to put our own skin in the game. And number two, it's more flexible. Some of the ARPA funding you couldn't do certain things with. And we wanted you, because we knew each of you had different needs, we wanted you to be able to use this money for what you needed it for. So again, just really appreciate you. And just a huge shout out to Chief Day. We were going through the budget process, we were working on different things, and he was also advocating for this. He was making sure that, although we didn't forget you, he was just reminding us one more time, which, you know, that's what family is. That's what partnership is, making sure that, you know, everybody gets taken care of. And so I just want to personally and publicly thank Chief Day too.
Okay, so now I have been told that we would like everybody to come up for a picture. We'll get a big group picture of everybody. And then after that, you're excused to have some good food in the back. Okay. Thank you. All right.